Halo episode 7. So we're back with another review for Team JVS, man. And I'm really excited to dive into this because I mean, the last episode ended with such a crazy cliffhanger. And for some reason that totally went over my head and I totally forgot that starting this. So going into this episode, it started off with such intensity and it's a lot of hype over here. But I want to start off by saying we are here with Sam, of course, and then me. I'm really excited to just go into this, man. And for you, it's always a blast watching you, man, because you are a fan of the games. I'm not familiar with anything of the game, so seeing you like just freak out over things that I have no idea what the hell it means. It's always great. It's always great. So how'd you feel about this episode?
I thought this was really dope, man, for a lot of different reasons. If you are a Halo fan, or study Halo lore, or just remember certain moments of the game, there's so many different callbacks, man. I mean, this whole scene with Halsey, I gushed about that for several different reasons I can't talk about on this review. But I think that honestly, they paid off everything. I mean, they paid off all the different dynamics and relationships, whether it was Soren and his son and his wife, whether it was, the Spartans as a whole, like whether it's Kai and the new Spartans that she's kind of cultivated and created.
Even Kai and John.
And then, the original OG Spartans. Like, I mean, everything about each relationship was really brought to a forehead. I mean, even when you think about like Halsey and her daughter, like relationships that mean something to this series were really kind of executed really well. And I have to give them a lot of credit for that. So yeah, I think this is a really good established episode bringing us into the finale.
For sure. And talking about relationships, I totally agree there. We had so many great like sequences of dialogue in this episode alone, whether it was between again Halsey and her daughter, Kai and John, uh, uh,
Mhm.
uh, Kai, John, and Ackerson. I mean, that alone was something that I was really looking forward to,
We
and
all
I
ready for
mentioned
that.
it to you, bro, because I said flat out, I need a scene with him holding him against the wall. Because I mean, and the fact that they executed it to perfection was just hilarious. Like to see him like going full on Batman on him and like just saying things to terrify the dude was just so hilarious to me. Definitely a highlight of the episode for me. And I'm interested to see what they're doing with this character because there was times where I'm like, obviously there's no redemption there. Like it's really hard to like imagine a redemption arc for him. But the way they had him set up with him actually seeming like he gave a damn,
Hmm.
even if it was solely about his legacy, the way they wrote it made it seem like he cared about the soldiers,
Yeah.
which I would have never assumed. I still am not sold, but to hear him word it in that sense was definitely interesting to me
Yeah.
and really made me want to figure out what they're doing. And it really shifted like who the main bad guy of the season was. Like I was thinking Ackerson was going to be a huge problem. And now we have another person who is stepping up with the leadership and that's something I'm really looking forward to. Like honestly.
Yeah. So this is the interesting thing about Ackerson. The way that they kind of designed him off rip, I mean, he's just made to be a douchebag,
Mhm.
right? And yet you show different moments where he absolutely cares about people. Like whether it was about his sister, whether it was about his dad, whether it's about like trying to use self-preservation to justification for stuff that he's doing. But in this specific episode, it was kind of like that altercation that he had with Kai and John was a very fascinating one because right after that, he met up with the commander and basically kind of was like, no, you can't do this to them. Like, I put them in a place to make them believe that they can make a difference, that they don't need John, that they
Mhm.
can actually make a difference. And, it just reminds me so much of Halsey. So it's kind of like everything, if you think back to all the things that Halsey has done, the lives that she's ruined, her own family's lives, he's no different than Halsey in my eyes. And I think that's the way that they wrote him. If they want to continue him, if this gets a third season and he survives, I think that they're gonna make him out to be kind of like a Halsey based kind of character
Okay.
because of how he's very intricate to how these things are going to move forward, because these Spartan threes are very important at the end of the day. Like John is legacy, and so to make that worth something, you have to have something brand new. And so I think even this conversation right here is kind of like, I was waiting for this conversation between Kai and John. I thought it was a really good conversation. I think it's very essential because he needed to kind of air out how he felt, and she needed to do the same. And ultimately, she was like, "You need why don't you come? Like this is gonna mean everything to them to see you fight alongside them." He was like, "No, man. Like I'm looking at the overarching big picture," and it was a great precursor to the conversation he had with Perez, and that was even better. So it's like I don't know what John's gonna do, but I know that he doesn't have it in him to let people die. No,
Okay.
he's not built that way, in my opinion. But
Yeah. I mean, to see him kind of making that decision, and Perez, I mean, is a character that's really growing on me, and to see her, I don't want even to call it manipulating, but to like let him know, like what the right decision is here, and honestly, it's really hard to decide what the right decision is. I
yeah,
mean, John understands how important it is to get the Halo or to get whatever it's called, and how in the wrong hand it's like a huge weapon. So I understand him wanting to go for that. But to see Perez kind of get into his head and talk to him on a more personal level was definitely what he needed. And I truly appreciate the kind of the human aspect of that, because I feel like in the first season, obviously, it wasn't. We were supposed to kind of look at him more of machine, if that makes any sense. He didn't feel like he didn't feel as human as he does in this season, and that's one thing that I really noticed and I really enjoyed. And to see that people constantly kind of playing at his emotions in the season and letting him know like how much or how important it would be for him to just be there.
yeah,
I don't know, little things like that. Just I really enjoy.
yeah. You're right, because Kai did that to him 2 episodes ago with Varric, with the funeral. She was like you need to come, like you should be there, and like he fought it, he fought it, he fought it, and eventually he just caught feelings, man. Like in the day he's a human, bro. And Kai tried to say the same exact thing to him. She's like, this is what it means to actually be human, And I don't know. It's just interesting to me because Quan. So when the Quan situation happened, it was her, right? It was Quan that was like trying to bury Varric, right?
Vanek, yep.
Vanek.
Vanek, yep.
And John really tried to stay away from it. He
Yeah, he
couldn't.
wanted nothing to do with it. He was telling her to just leave it alone.
And she was like, no, like you
He
need to,
deserves this. Yep.
right. And that's the only thing that's leading me to believe that John's gonna try to do both. I
Yep.
think some kind of way he's gonna try to intercept the Spartans to save them. But either one or two things are gonna happen. Either one, he's gonna get to the Halo too late, or two, he's gonna get there, but it's at the cost of somebody else. And I don't know.
Okay.
That's where I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do with the finale. Honestly,
How does it feel to finally be here, to actually look at the Halo the way that we looked at it in this episode?
I mean that's really a question for you because it's like it's weird for me because I've been waiting for it to happen. You don't
Okay.
even know,
I don't know the significance of it. So
right?
for me, seeing it, it's just I'm relying on the hype of what they've kind of built up. Then on top of that, the emotions that I'm seeing through you.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, you seeing it, I feel like the reaction you're gonna kind of get is a little different than kind of what I'm feeling. So that's why I was asking. It's similar to when we find out that there's a whole hidden laboratory next to the whole hidden city. We saw this like little bridge pop up, and your face lit up like a Christmas tree.
It did.
I had no idea what it meant, but it meant something. I'm telling you that. So
Yeah,
like
it
I
did.
want to know, as a fan, how does it feel to finally see all these things coming together? Does it feel too fast? Does it feel unorganized? Are you just happy to see them?
I personally feel like they've earned every little bit of how this is supposed to be perceived. Like I mean, of course, we get the small little glimpses that McKee kind of showed John and what he saw before. I mean, all of it is just so impactful if you are a Halo fan. So I feel like not only was it earned, but I feel like it is right on time. It's tracking. Like by the time we get to the third season, if they have a third season, getting with certain things of the Halo, I can't say. It's gonna be a very exciting time. So for me, I'm very excited. I don't see why nobody wouldn't be excited. I think people have been waiting for us to get there, so to speak. And yeah, there's certain things that I saw in this episode that I'm like, if they keep this same exact energy, people aren't ready. But I will say this: Quan what Quan saw with the stars and how they handled all that with Quan, I thought was very interesting because if it's what I think it is, um, they are all in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm even more excited about that. That
Okay.
aspect is so interesting. And I didn't think they had the budget to do what they think they could do with this. Um, but yeah, there's a certain other series that if they go that route, that yeah, you're gonna be really excited. There's another series that's
All right.
really big on HBO that could go down that route too. I'll leave it at that.
All right. And I don't know, man. I mean, it's insane to me the step up that they took between this season and the first season. And again,
Yeah,
I'm not even like my beef wasn't with the lore. A majority of the people or the negative reviews that we're seeing were people that just weren't happy with the differences between the source material and then what we've gotten with this show. Me personally, I watched the first season. I was like, all right, that was cool. You know, it is what it is. I had no beef. Watching the second season, I, as someone who, and again, not familiar with anything, have seen a massive improvement, and it's just been really, really cool to see
yeah,
how different things are and how insane of like the levels of excitement. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just been just better overall. You know, and is that the similar to you? Do you see a massive jump in quality, whether it's the writing, the cinematography, just everything in general? Do you see it being better?
yeah. They've definitely. It's weird to me that out of all the people that kind of like shot down the first season, and I thought that the way the finale of the first season was phenomenal. Um, but with this season, it's like the budget is higher, the acting is better, the stakes are better. Even down to like the choreography of the scenes and the action.
The story for
Um,
me is just it's just better. I mean, with the
yeah,
choices and the pacing from last season, specifically with the pirates and everything, it just made me not. It really just bummed down some of the moments that you're supposed to go crazy for. You know what I'm saying? Because,
yeah.
and I feel like this season has been leveling it out perfectly, and the fact that everyone's now together has just made it more exciting to me.
It feels like a full show. Like
Hmm.
it doesn't feel like different pieces of a show that's trying to be put together. Because it's kind
Okay.
of like if you think about the beginning of the season and you get a scene like this, it's like, how did we get here? Like imagine you watch the first episode of the second season and then you get to this and like, oh wow, man, you really feel like you missed, right? If you go back to the first season, start from the first episode, and you get to like the seventh episode of that season, you're like, did we go anywhere? Did anything really change? You
The
know?
fact that there's been so many episodes that have carried, like, and have just been amazing,
Yeah.
and that we don't feel like, all right, so this episode wasn't good. The finale is going to be top tier. Episode 4, still the best episode of the season. The
Yeah, for
next
sure.
episode, another banger.
It
I
was.
mean, even episode 6 ended with just such intensity, and now we're going with episode 7 where they're pushing like the story so far, and now we're diving into episode 8, which I'm sure is going to be action packed. So it's like this season is just better in every aspect. And to the people that kind of gave up on season 1, I truly want them to just give it another shot because like it's insane how much of a turnaround this show has done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird though because some people are gonna still say they're gonna ask these key questions like, "Have we gotten to Halo yet?" And you say, "No." Is John still got his helmet off? Yes.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, "Well, is there any like situation where you remember any of these characters that are really important from the show, or is Katana doing this or that? Which is she with
Yeah.
John?" And you say no. all they're gonna do is just crap on it. Like until honestly, and I hate to say it like this, the journey is the most exciting thing about this series for me because I know where all this is supposed to go. Is the fact that they're threading all these needles and they're doing a really good job, better than they did in the first season. But
Yeah.
when we get to the third season, that's honestly the meat and potatoes what everybody's been waiting for. I just hate to say it that some people are just not going to be pleased with going through that journey like I am. And so until we get to a third season, people aren't gonna feel away. And it's funny because those same people are the ones that like when the Walking Dead coming out, like, man, when Negan's coming, when is Negan gonna come? When is Glenn gonna die? And as soon as Negan came, as soon as Glenn died, it hit an
Don't like it
apex.
anymore.
And it's like, oh, that was too much. It's too much. I'm traumatized. I can't let my kids watch the show no more.
That's so funny,
So
bro.
I think that's just people. People like to say they think that they know what they want instead of just like enjoying the ride. And
Yeah.
I'm more about enjoying the ride. And I think that this season specifically is using this episode as a good example. Like a character like Quan, I could not have cared less. I felt like Quan and McKee the first season were part of the reasons why I had difficulty with season one. Eventually, I was okay with McKee for a little bit, but Quan, every single episode she was in, I was like, she is hurting this series. They turned that upside down in ways that I
Mhm.
didn't think possible. And it's just
100%,
good
bro.
writing because it was never the actress's fault. It wasn't her fault. I
Mhm.
never thought that. They just didn't write her well. And same thing for Soren. Soren was very underutilized the first season. They just used him like a pirate. They would use him as opposed to John doing his thing. They were like Soren, pirates, Soren, pirates, Soren, pirates, con. Like it's I don't know. But this season, man, they did a really good job. Because even in the episode we're here, like he told his wife straight up, like, no, don't take this from him. I know this is traumatizing for me, but
Yeah.
I never forgive you for the
Like,
XYZ.
he needs to decide this, yeah.
And yet, she got up in his face. She was like, no, we can't do this. Like, you're not a Spartan anymore. She called him out
Mhm.
and he still intervened. And it's crazy because even with him intervening, his son still moved away from him, backed away from him. And it's crazy because she didn't back him up either. Like she did exactly what he wanted him to do, but yet she didn't say, "Oh, it's okay, son. Like we have you. You and your dad. We're gonna protect you." So I worry that Soren's gonna lose both of them. To be honest with you,
Man.
not like death.
Dying. Okay, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I think that he's gonna lose them as a relationship.
Seeing Kessler kinda get afraid of him like that was just I feel like that's the last thing Soren wants to see, specifically as a father. Because
Yeah,
although he still sees himself as a Spartan, he has something that again, and his wife mentioned this, he has something that all these other Spartans don't really have, and that's a life, that's a family, that's a marriage. And the fact that he was lucky enough to get that, I feel like I don't want to say he's taking it for granted, but when it's not there anymore, he's definitely gonna realize it. So
yeah,
it's just one of those situations that's kind of tough, but to see him kind of come in at the last minute and whip ass is pretty exciting. But all it did, of course, was kind of shock Kessler a little bit.
yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of weird things happening, what about McKee and the
The arbiter.
Arbiter?
Ooh,
Because he already did his penance in burning himself as a disgrace, but
their bond, dude. It's like it's
the
really cool to see them again, like, kind of bonding on a different level. Because,
yeah,
of course, we have, ways that I guess humans can bond, but to see them bonding, where, of course, McKee doesn't wanna see herself as a human, but, like, the way that these creatures interact is so different, but
yeah,
to see him kind of being or showing a little humanity, if you will,
yeah.
with, "Our bond is here," or whatever the hell he was saying, it was different. It was really cool to see him kind of like, this is the second time where we've seen him actually talking to McKee without threatening her, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
it's really cool to see someone of the Covenant doing that, where I'm so used to seeing these characters, these, like, monsters, if you will, constantly being, extremely hostile. So to see them actually having that common goal and talking about it civilly, like, in a civil manner, has been a highlight for me, for sure.
yeah. It's so fascinating how I can't spoil it. How they're writing John and Arbiter. is so interesting, and I'm all the way for it. I would just say it like that. Like yeah, yeah. It makes it worth it. McKee and John's relationship in the first season, if they're going the route that I think they're going, like they are this season.
Okay.
Yeah. Now they still haven't really explained how the hell she survived, but
No, and I don't know if they will.
I'm just like, whatever. But yeah,
Like
no,
they're gonna do like a Rise of Skywalker, and somehow McKee returned. It's gonna be a
yeah,
whole thing like that.
I really don't know how she survived, but it's all good.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like we covered a majority of that, right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, man.
I mean, I'm excited for episode 8. And like I said, I've said this multiple times, but the amount of times I'm saying I'm excited for Halo is something that I've never thought I would say, specifically after season 1. So it's really cool to see the improvement of this season. And the head actor, Pablo, what's his name? I'm so bad with remembering names, but they're killing it, bro. Like honestly, it's been so impressive to see the acting and them just coming together, and they've just done such a good job, man. And I'm really excited for the finale and to see what they're gonna kind of cook up. It's gonna be interesting. Pablo Schreiber, excuse me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, he's been killing it, man.
yeah, his brother played what's his name? Sabretooth in X-Men Origins. Lee Schreiber.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I remember seeing that the other like a month ago when I was looking up the cast because I remembered the last name. I was like, wait a second, I know that last name.
Yeah, but that dude is freaking huge. That man is 6'5", bro.
Honestly,
That's ridiculous.
it's really fun. It's really
His
fun to
brother
see
is
it, bro.
6'3".
Wow,
So that makes sense.
wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, bro. They got them tall jeans.
Yep. Anywho, what do we rate this? Final thoughts.
Give me a B plus.
I don't really have any negatives about this. This is an A minus for me. I don't really have I don't have anything to knock it. In fact, that I haven't watched the show in during their 3 weeks or 2 weeks at least, and I just
Honestly,
jumped right back into it.
oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were slacking a little bit, but we're back at it. And
Yeah.
but the thing is, it's like I truly believe that there's just so many questions I have, and I truly don't believe they're all going to be answered in episode 8. And that's the one thing that's kind of freaking me out because I really don't want to wait so long for them to be answered. I feel like I've really been patient. So, it is what it is. But I guess that's it for now. Of course, you can find Samuel over here on TeamJVS. You can find me, Busy Braun, everywhere, Busy Braun, Busy Reactions on Instagram, all that stuff. I got a broken tooth, so the fact that we keep zooming in and you're kind of like, it's killing me right now. But yeah, I'm really excited. So off topic, but I'm really excited to promote more or do more content on this channel. We gotta finish. I really want to do the Halo episode 8 reaction. I'm really excited for that. It's gonna be so fun to watch. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say, bro.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah. What is your one question that you want answered? If you had one
Well,
question, if
I
somebody
want to know. I want to know about that city. I want to know what the hell's on that hard drive or that little drive. I want to know. Like, I know Quan's important, but I really want to know how she's so important. I mean, I want to know why the hell the Halo's so important. Why the hell is McKee still alive? I mean, why didn't John kill Ackerson? Not Flower. I can know why, but that's just, I don't know. I feel like that's just off the top of my head.
I think about 50% of those questions are gonna get answered.
All right, bro. All right.
That's my
All
theory.
right.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are out. Hopefully you like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go to the description bar below and check out Busy Braun. Check out his reaction. We got a lot of craziness out there. Got a lot more coming.
Yes, sir.
That's a whole nother thing. But until then, peace, people.
Filing out the top of
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline.